Okay, here I've got a Vivid hoverboard with a battery issue, and I figured I might be able to get a cheap battery, good quality, from a non-genuine source, and so I purchased this fella, Tokala 36 volt 4.4 amp hour battery. Now I've opened it up and checked the cells. Now they look legitimate. I've purchased from the official Little Colour in the past, and they're all fine. And why I have had to open it, I'll show you. Voila, is that the height of the original is lower than the height of the new one due to this rubber piece in here, which sit in this group of cells up higher overall, and these ones are sitting actually on the surface of the board, which I would have thought they would have what have they done here? They put paper underneath. I can't see paper underneath, but one would hope they've put the paper underneath. But if not, ideally to me would it would be if they're going to Little is going to put foam under there, is half that height. And the reason being is this fella right here, that's the casing inside the hoverboard. And the problem is that with the taller battery setup here, it just won't fit in here correctly. It struggles to clip in properly. Now really what Little Colour need to do is only have half the size of that foam mat. Okay, that would be perfectly fine. It would fit in here perfectly. It'd be a nice tight fit, which is fine. Now it is normally in the heat shrink. That shouldn't affect it at all if they did that, but I don't know. I will put it to Little Colour to look at changing that so they're not using as thick a foam. That is around about, I think, about 5 or 6 millimeters tall. They only need like 1 or 2. Even 2 mil would be fine, perfectly fine. So what I'm having to do to get this to fit is that I'm actually going to pull off the tabs here. This is packed up. I do have a 1 or 2 mil thick foam to insert there. I'll bring it back down. I'll have to be very careful lifting these up so I don't damage the tabs too much. Otherwise, I'll just have to replace that strip there, that nickel strip there. It's not a big deal, but I just want to minimize the amount of work I have to do. So once I've done that, once I've replaced that, then I can fit it in the case and then she'll be fine. But ideally I like Little Colour to change that foam. It may take a long time before that happens because no doubt they'll probably got hundreds of those in stock, and to change out will take quite a bit of time to do that. So yeah, in the case of the original battery, I haven't checked to see who that is. It'd be nice to know who they are, but I'm not overly fussed by that. But certainly I think this is an opportunity to look at assisting people who've got this particular brand, Vivid brand, which they purchased through a company in Australia called Scooter Hut, and they are notably cheaper than the originals. There's nothing wrong with these at all. They're excellent batteries. I think that you have to be really careful when you buy online from China what you buy, because the number of people that have brought in their scooters and bought batteries, who knows where, are getting conned. In particular, there's one person, she brought in a battery which would be something like a 36 volt, 8 amp hour or 8,000 milliamp hour. That's the size of it as well. I did open it up and I did check the cells, and each cell was around about 1,000 milliamp hours. Instead of today, there would be 2,200 or 2,600 or even higher. But the scooter that she's got, the super cheap scooter that she got, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was or the aftermarket battery would be a 2,000 or 2,200 or 2,600 cell. But they were only 1,000. But the label did say 80,000 milliamp hours or 80 amp hours, and I mean, you look at this thing. It was the size of this fella here, and you would not get 80 amp hour, even with the new larger cells that are 5 amp hours. You just wouldn't be able to do it. You'd need how many is it? You need 14 of them in parallel, but then you only got the 4.2 volts on it, because you wouldn't be able to fit any more than, you know, the 20 of them in here. So effectively she got scammed like most people. If you see on AliExpress that your battery is known to be like an 8 amp hour or 15 amp hour, the dimensions practically got to be identical, okay? But if they turn around and got 80 amp hours or 80,000, all right, count the zeros, then that is BS. Now, I've spoken to a legitimate company that I deal with, and they said the reason why they haven't been taken down off of AliExpress is because they haven't been caught, basically. Which seems strange, because I'm pretty certain a lot of them have been on there for weeks, if not months. But anyway, there's not much you can do about it. You just got to be really careful. Look out for the reviews, see how many people bought their batteries, and see what response they've got, and make sure they've got something high, you know, like 4.5 or 4.8 or something like that, and read the bad reviews. But you'll find that the ones with more reviews are more likely to be legitimate. And what you do is that when you receive a battery, is that you make sure it's fully charged, and then you check the range that you've done, and ideally on a run that you normally do, whether you're going to work or school or whatever, and determine its maximum range. And that should be compared to the range of the scooter when you first purchased it. So I do suggest that anyone who's bought a brand new scooter is determine its full range on a regular path that you take, whether it's to work or, as I said, or if you're, you know, having a trip along the beach on the bicycle path or something like that. Do try to get the range of that battery. And the advantage of that also is that if your battery is slowly but surely dying, you'll be able to pick that up early. And I should be able to fix that problem up, because when it's dying slowly, it's more than likely because the cells have become unbalanced. That way I can assure you that there's a good chance of recovering that battery and minimizing the risk of having to pay several $100s, if not you know, a few $1,000s in some cases. If your battery just dies suddenly, like it's 1 minute it's doing a 30-kilometer range, and then the next few rides it drops down to say 25, then to 20 and 25, like that within a few rides, then you got something more seriously wrong with that battery. And again, you've got to get in quick. Basically, if there's something seriously wrong, if you're not getting within a few kilometers each time, and it's dropped down, say for example, by 5 kilometers, pretty much within a ride or two. Immediately stop riding it. You can try and charge it up. I would suggest you charge it up to the full, and then bring it to me if you can, if you're in Perth, Western Australia. Even if you're in the eastern states, New South Victoria, if it's worthwhile to send it, and you'll have to send it by road, okay? You can't send it by air. Then send it by road, and mind you, it'll take a good week to 10 days for it to arrive, and then I'll have to open it up, open it to see the cells like that, and then I can check each string and make sure that each string is okay. I wouldn't be able to check the cells in parallel, but I get a good idea if there's a problem with any of the cells faulty in parallel to each string. Now, when it comes to BMSs, it's a bit tricky. At the moment, with this BMS tester, this is my new Fandangle machine that I purchased, and we're talking something they use in factories, okay, in battery or BMS manufacturing factories in China. This one cost me an absolute fortune, but I see it as an investment for building bespoke batteries for people who in Australia need a specific battery built, and ensuring that the battery's BMS is working fine, or to certain specs, and then I can do it. So I can build bespoke batteries. I've got all the equipment for it. I'm gradually building up my cell stock. Just waiting for 260 LG 5000 milliamp hour cells, the big ones, the 21700s, to arrive. Should be imminently, but I will be looking at the standard 18650 as well to bring in and use. But I do have a ton of used cells that I have done a thorough test on to ensure that they are practically near original condition. There are a number of them that are not, where they've increased their resistance by double or triple. For example, the resistance should be no more than, say, around about the, for the sake of it, 20 milliamps. 20 milliamps. I'll correct that. Milliohms, of course, for resistance. I've got some here that are 40 or even 80. Now, those ones that are 40, 80, I do not reuse. Only the ones that are around about within 5 milliohms of on average. So if they're 25 or 15, they're not likely to be 15, but more likely 25 if they're 20 milliohm cells. So I do use those in replacing batteries that people can't get for their scooter anymore. But certainly anything higher than that, I will be recommending them as replacements for your little solar lights in your gardens and things like that, which they are perfect for. It's not an issue when it comes to the resistance increasing to the point where the resistance is so high they don't this little solar panel on top of the garden solar light won't charge it up properly. It just goes open circuit effectively. They don't go short, by the way, unless you put a screwdriver through it or something like that. So yeah, that's all I can tell you. So if you've got a Vivid hoverboard that you purchase through Scooter Hut or on Facebook Marketplace, which I never recommend anyone buying a second-hand scooter unless the seller can prove the range of that e-scooter, e-bike or hoverboard or skateboard. If they can prove the range of it and it's close to the original, and don't go by the specs on the manufacturer's website, because that's BS. Just like car range is BS as well, but in the electric PEV, the personal electric vehicle world of e-bikes, e-scooters, etc., they exaggerate considerably. A lot of the spec is based on an absolute flat surface, no wind, and a small petite Asian lady of no more than 45 kilos travelling at 15 kilometres an hour. And even then, I don't think they'll be able to get that range as quoted in their specifications. I usually encourage people to look at deducting about a third. So if they say it's 30 kilometre range, then expect 20. Okay. So I am interested in doing bespoke batteries. If people building their own systems, e-bikes or whatever, skateboards, and they need a specific battery, I can do that. I'm at my early stages now. It's January 2025 in building up my parts, but if I don't have it, I can get them in, and I can build them. Now, in terms of cost, really it is quite expensive still, but if you're doing something bespoke, then that's what you have to pay. You're going to have to pay something a bit expensive. I should be able to do a quote for you if need be, but certainly don't hesitate to ask. Give me the dimensions that you need, the voltage that you need, the capacity that you need, and the connectors and the length of the connector cables that you need, and whether you need Bluetooth capability, you want a smart BMS or just a simple dumb BMS inside, then I can do that. That's not an issue. I've already done a few batteries, bespoke batteries. So yes, it's early stage, but I'm practically ready to roll. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, and hope I've given you a bit of information, particularly for those who've got hoverboards. I've got other brands here. They've got battery issues, and I should be able to fix them up as well when it comes to the batteries. I do buy. There was, just to let you know, there was on AliExpress another company that looked like Litakala but was spelled a little bit differently. Be aware, be careful, making sure you're going to the Litakala official factory shop online. That way you're going to be should be guaranteed a good battery. And by the way, yes, sometimes they fail, sometimes there's a small batch of faulty ones, or that you're going to be one of the unlucky 5% that get a faulty battery when it arrives, whether it's from vibrations or temperature or whatever, don't know. You just contact them back and confirm with them that you have a problem with your battery, and they should be able to assist you. Bye for now.